The other byproduct is the opposite side of that, which is that if you're going to come this long, some people are going to cycle the other end of life. And that's a beautiful thing too. And that's really part of today. And I'm really excited now to be able to turn the mic over to Joel Edelman, Joel over here, who's going to talk about the person for whom this building is named. Thank you so much for being here.
Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah,
yes.
That's fine.
Okay, very good.
Are you a thespian?
Yeah. Don't get me off. I have a script here. I don't think I need that. I think I'm okay. Sure? Yeah, I think I'm sure.
You got a great voice, this guy.
So all that glitters, ladies and gentlemen, is not gold. Sometimes it's ice cream. Sometimes it's sweets. Sometimes it's t-shirts. And I hope everyone is partaking in those today and enjoying those aspects and those things today. This is not going to be easy for me. The odds are that smart money is that I don't make it through this without material loss of composure. Ken actually took the position that I do not, which is why I played that song to start this ceremony, just making it even tougher. But it is tough for me to talk about my mother. It's tough for me to talk about my mother in my living room, with my kids, and with my wife. And here I am in this public forum and at this wonderful and beautiful event. And we're going to see what we can do and how I go through with this. But this is a happy occasion and it's a joyous occasion. And I'm going to try to keep that environment apparent. But it is important for us all to talk about our loved ones, all of our loved ones. It's important for me to, despite it being a razor to my wounded heart, and razors to your wounded hearts, with regards to talking about our loved ones, it's important because that's the means by which we keep names alive and we keep thoughts and memories of people alive. And so it's important for me to do it despite the flip side of the coin, and it's important for you to do it as well. And I say these things which can be morose and tough to say because that's precisely what we're doing here today. We're putting my mom's name on this everlasting and immortal structure. And I couldn't be more thankful to you and honored for my mother and honored for me and my family. And that's what we're doing, so that every single day somebody can walk by this place and see Ellen's name. And every single day someone can walk by this place and see that she loved sweets, and see that she loved theater. And so every single day my mom's name will be in front of people and will be remembered by people. And some people will see it every day, and most of us are travelers. We can see it any day, if not every day. And so that's very special to me, and I'm very appreciative of that. So as we gather here, friends, Romans and countrymen, I know that Mark Antony did assemble to bury, but we do not. And this is going to be joyous, and this is going to be happy, and this is a celebration. And we do assemble to praise. We assemble to praise, and we assemble to honor, and we assemble to celebrate. We assemble to praise and honor and celebrate a woman who, when I was a young child, we were vacationing, I and my dad, and my mom and my sister, traveling in Florida. We come to praise and honor and celebrate a woman who demanded that we go to the very same dinner buffet on this particular night that we had been to only the night before. And Dad said, "What are you talking about? We just went the night before." And Mom said, "Well, we ate so much at the dinner, we didn't even get to the dessert buffet." So indeed, we went to the very same buffet, and we started at the dessert buffet.
Love it.
We come here to praise and to honor and to celebrate a woman who, when I was visiting her in Florida, and I was sitting at her neighborhood pool, she sat down next to me. This was not long ago, actually. She sat down next to me with a big styrofoam cup of chocolate ice cream. I said, "Mom, how'd you get that big cup of chocolate ice cream?" And I guess I was thinking something along the lines of, "Hey, you talk to the manager, they'll let you go into the back and get ice cream. Or if you put $2.50 in the bowl, go to the back and get ice cream." And my mom looked at me and very simplistically said, "I walked in, I got ice cream, and I walked out." I said, "Well, that makes sense." To be honest with you, I sort of felt like it was a stupid question. We come here to praise, we come here to honor, we come here to celebrate a woman who didn't have a problem really with sleep talking, as some of us do. Didn't have a problem really with sleepwalking, as some of us do. My mother had a tendency to sleep eat ice cream. I did not know that was a thing. But my dad walks into the kitchen one morning and sees open cartons of melted ice cream containers on the counter. And my mom actually suggested that it was a burglar. Came in, ate ice cream, took nothing, and left no signs of entry or departure. But that's a story my father tells, and it's something that happened. And it was, if this hasn't reached the core of you as to who part ice cream and sweets had to my mother, I have one more example for you. We're here to praise and celebrate and honor and celebrate a woman who received her engagement ring, not in a velvety little box, but in a candy apple. My father went to Mitchell's Ice Cream in the south side of Chicago, gave them my mother's engagement ring. They inserted it in a candy apple, and they put the candy coating on it, and my father gave it to my mother and proposed. My mother said, "I need to think about it. Do you have another apple?" And they ended up getting married, as you all know. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow will be 63 years since the day they got married. August 4th. I think it was 56 years. I think it was 1963. Tomorrow, August 4th, will be 56 years of their the wedding anniversary. Last summer, I and my wife, my daughters, my father, we went to Africa. We went to Tanzania. And to make a long and wonderful story short, we went with a nonprofit group whose mission it is to invest in rural education, rural Tanzania, education in rural Tanzania. And so we traveled with an employee of this nonprofit, and he was wonderful. And he taught us a lot about the country and about the culture. And the part that's relevant to this is that the topic of ice cream came up. And this was only last summer, so my mom wasn't with us. And he said, ice cream is a child's treat. Adults do not eat ice cream. Only children eat ice cream. And after I calmed my daughters down because they were shaking, nervous that they were not going to be able to eat ice cream, I realized this is the antithesis of my mother, who loved showing her child's side, who loved showing her silliness. My mother so readily would giggle and laugh uncontrollably, most times at the thought of her own jokes. My mom had the worst joke presentation because she couldn't even tell her jokes because she started laughing, and after about 10 minutes of this, people lost interest in me. But my mom loved and would often be found giggling and laughing and just being silly. One of the things that is most brilliant, my mom would oftentimes be seen singing fearlessly in public. And I believe that video, which you're going to see, is an example of that. But my mom would sing and dance in public and show her child side in that manner. My mom loved to get on the floor with young children. She got on the floor with my daughters, she got on the floor with my sister's daughters, she got on the floor with many of these kids here and many of my cousins' kids, and loved to be with them and play with them at their level. And she showed her child side in that manner. And to make full circle, my mom loved to eat a child's treat. She had no qualms about walking around, going out and getting herself a child's treat. And that, I think, ladies and gentlemen, is the second most prominent characteristic of what we think about my mother and when we think about my mother and why we love my mother. I think the first is my mom's unsolicited thoughtfulness of other people. Love sought is good, but given unsought, even better. And I don't think there was one time I spoke to my mother where she didn't say, today I went to visit a sick friend. Or today I went to visit a friend who had an elderly parent in town. I wanted to relieve my friend and let my friend have some free time. Or that she called someone just to say hello and talk and say, how are you? Or that she would just go out and get gifts for other people who she thought needed to be up. And that, I think, is the number one thing that I think about my mother, and I suspect that other people do too, her unsolicited thoughtfulness of others. And I think those are two great reasons why I'm here today, and we've all made efforts to make this day happen and to honor my mother in this way. So I recognize what Polonius said about brevity. I think I've lost my wit many minutes ago. But I'll conclude and say to you, I am eternally grateful to all of you for your love of my mother. I'm eternally grateful to all of you for honoring my mother. And I'm eternally grateful to you for honoring my mother in this particular fashion. In this place that will hand out tens and hundreds and thousands of cups of ice cream, of cups of smiles, cups of joy, of cups of the exuberance of children in anticipation of getting ice cream, cups of people getting together and gathering and talking, cups of people meeting new people, and cups of people catching up with old friends, cups of community, cups of togetherness, and cups of love. And that is so appropriate and so apropos for who my mother is, and it's so appropriate that each of those cups will be stamped with my mother's name. And I'm so appreciative to all of you for making my mother not of an age, but for all time.